Hey, welcome to the First Issue Club, we're your weekly comic book podcast, where just like Sue Storm, we love a good read. We're doing double duty this week, and should I say happy holidays? Happy birthday, America.
You look good for 250, babe.
Hard to believe the planet's 250 years old.
You're a quarter of a millennia?
Century.
Is that what 1,000 years is?
Yes, millennia. No, that's, millennia.
I thought a millennia was a million years. No, it's an eon. Wow, we are fucking dumb, but we love comic books.
I think most people don't have eon just sitting there in their vocabulary. So at least we have that.
Time's just made up.
What I'm trying to say is that we missed last week, so we've got a double dose of comic books for you this holiday weekend. So excited to talk about double the first issues that you're used to getting. Who knows? Maybe we'll go short on news. Who knows? I'm not sure how much news we really have to cover this week. Over on the Patreon, we talked a little bit about the Supergirl discourse and trying to be a little more positive as comic book fans generally. We could do more with our positivity. If we spent half the time that we spent being negative, sharing what we love about comic books and sharing comic books we love, more people would be at this hobby, and this hobby would be in an even better place. So a little something to think about. And if you want to hear us rant about it, go over to the Patreon. But I do want to mention that First Issue Club, before we get too far anyway, it's brought to you by Space Camper Cosmic IPA, the best dang beer in the galaxy. Ooh, it's so yummy. This is I'm in love with this beer. I've yet to tell my wife that there's a beverage in my life that I'd like us to, share our relationship with. Space Camper means the world to me. It makes me feel like a better man. The
makes
hop
me feel
taste
strong.
is invigorating, and it gives me a new lease on life. Space Camper Juice Nova is one that's 9.0% alcohol by volume, out of this world, just like this outer space branding that comes with this line of beers and all the different varietals that they carry. Super Stellar IPA is one that I've been really enjoying lately, and I hope you like it too. So cheers, folks, to everyone enjoying a Space Camper Cosmic IPA.
Mike, do you like
Tum-tum, Space Camper IPA. It's not a beer. It's a journey. If you interrupt my tagline again, Andy, I'm going to lose it.
I think Andy and I were both like waiting for it, and it wasn't coming, and we were like, we have to fill silence.
It's called a dramatic pause.
I just wanted to call out that Mike D likes it so much he got a tall boy.
I mean,
Look at this thing.
that thing is gigantic.
Sorry, he got a tall girl.
A tall girl.
It's a big
I
one.
like that.
That is a lot of delicious Space Camper IPA Juice Nova. You will definitely go to another dimension with that.
I'll be sleeping in late tomorrow, folks.
That can,
Hell
by the
yeah.
way, the design of that can, just primo.
George, tell me about it.
I just did. I have no news. I have no comic book news. I have no news. There's no news to talk about.
False. 50 Cent is developing a Bone Parish TV show at Netflix.
Whoa. Bone Parish was sick.
Bone
I
Parish
loved
was
that
sick.
series.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's some news to talk about.
Yes.
50 Cent.
Colin
Interesting.
Bunn, local favorite here at the club, wrote the series back in like 2012 or something. Feels like that book is so old, but of all people to be bringing it to TV, 50 Cent's the guy to do it, I guess.
Hey, he put Diddy away.
He did. He did put Diddy away. Thank God.
Cheers, 50.
Cheers to 50, putting Diddy away. That is
Uh,
exciting because we did like Bone Parish a lot here on the show.
Bone. If you don't know, the concept of it is this family figures out this concoction where they can mix a certain
Mhm.
amount of chemicals with bones of the deceased, and then you can kind of experience life as it was lived by the deceased. Isn't that right? Am I
Yeah,
misremembering it? Like we said, it's been like
right.
12 years or so.
It's kind of the same
Um,
concept of drinking the tub water from the e-girl that I purchase it from. I
That's
get
right.
to experience how she streams games just from a single cup of delicious bath water. We'll fix that in post. um,
you have to save some in a like a kind of a reliquary.
well, I have a basin. I have like this like kind of
There you go.
it's
Oh, okay. You combine it all.
yeah. Well, yeah. It's like a as you like enter churches, they have those little thing of holy water, and you dip your finger in and kind of bless yourself. It's kind of like what I do, except it's like more of like a self-watering cat bowl that I just like walk up to, take a little bit, and then go about my day.
The modern day ship of Theseus is if you keep adding water to your e-girl bath water, at what point does it not become e-girl bath water?
At what point have you drank an entire e-girl?
I hate this.
Oh man, or e-boy. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be exclusionary. E-girls
right.
or e-boys can both sell their bath water.
Oh Lord, that's too much.
Although I think
that was all
e-boys
the
are just
Discord.
called
Everyone's
Discord
entitled
mods.
to sell their bath water. I just want to be clear. That's First Issue
Yeah.
Club stance.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize that if you take baths, you could sell it. You could sell that water. It's
Yeah,
like
send us
saving
your
the
bath
broth.
water.
It's boy broth. Just sell it.
Boy, it's gonna go to waste. Otherwise,
Boy broth.
There
why
are
not give
Greg's-
us your boy broth?
there are horny
Greg's
people in
launching
China
a
who
new
would
company.
kill for boy broth. And we're just flushing it right down the pipes.
Oh, well, thank you, Greg, our fetish correspondent.
Reporting live from the Red Room, I'm Greg Lichtai.
Oh no.
All right. Any other news, Vargas?
No, that was
You
that
seem
was
to
the
be
big
our
one.
news guy.
That was the
Okay.
big one.
Made a
well,
big stink
actually-
about there being a lot of news.
They
There was
are
just one
now
headline.
developing a Thundercat movie.
Are they really?
Yeah, with what little success that the He-Man movie was, they were just like, fuck it, do a Thundercat one.
I hope they make it look the same as the Cats movie.
Oh, creepy. Yeah, they already have the technology.
That's right.
Just reuse it.
Just reuse that technology.
Except I hope they
Yeah.
learned the lesson that cats didn't learn, which is leave the buttholes in.
That's right. Release the butthole cut.
Again, our fetish correspondent, Greg.
Oh, sorry, real
do we
quick.
know if this will be like a live action looking thing?
I don't
The
know.
Thundercats movie? Yeah, you
I don't know. It would cost a fucking fortune, but I mean, avatars exist, so it's like there's precedent.
I've heard that they're like reevaluating how they're gonna make Avatar 4 because the first 3 movies cost so much that it's like difficult to break even on them. Like they cost them hundreds of millions to make.
I love how like the Avatar films are like kind of like a dystopian think piece, but they're actually a documentary on how they're ruining our own planet and how it's James Cameron is turning Earth into whatever fucking Na'vi planet that they live on and like depleted of every resource because he wants to make these stupid ass blue people movies. Reporting live from the Red Room, I'm Greg.
I'm looking at more of these Spider-Man 1000 covers. There's some cool ones. I mean,
Have they
obviously
made it to
were gonna
1,000
be.
yet?
Yeah, 1,000 variants for issue 1000. The Tedesco one, I love.
Oh, I fucking love Tedesco so much.
This
His
that's
stuff's
going to be like a
so
$10
cool.
issue though, right?
I'm
Probably.
sure it's going to be like a big square bound thing. That's how the
Batman or
Superman
Detective Comics.
1000 and Detective Comics 1000 were.
Yeah.
Given this is a Marvel book, but they kind of follow the same precedent normally. With how many people are writing like backup stories in it, I'd be really surprised if it wasn't square bound.
We don't have to talk about it too long because we're a positive podcast, but I am glad to see JR back on the cover A slot.
Yeah, it's also turned into this moment where we've like celebrated him and his legacy, and people are sharing a lot of their like favorite classic JR
Yeah.
covers and interior pages, and I'm like, this is cool that it did the change the narrative into like, man,
Yeah.
this guy's so great, he deserves the A cover, and here are all these like rad things that got us here. Like, we're not just thinking about this one cover as his like sole contribution to
Yeah.
this. He's so much of what's led up to this milestone, and it's only right that what he's able to do in 2026 is there with it. So
I fully
stamp
agree.
of approval.
Fully agree. That's why I changed my tune on the Frank Miller covers. It's just like, hey, when you earn that spot, it's for a reason. And I am glad that whatever. I'm not gonna get into it because it's just stupid, and I don't want to add to the conversation.
No, yeah, it's been
hacked
to
death.
beyond comprehension. But given they've been slow to like, you've had to like pre-order some of these without knowing what the cover looks like.
Hate that.
Just based on like, oh, I like John Tyler Christopher, I guess I'll roll the dice on that $10 cover. And it's just tough. So now that more are coming out, it's easier to choose. So take a look, pre-order the ones you want if you want to make sure you have them. But I'm assuming that all of these are going to be really easy to pick up the first week because shops are going to be ordering a lot of them, and it's exciting to get a lot of people into stores for a big landmark issue like this. A good opportunity to share with some of your friends who are comic book curious or wanting to get back into Spider-Man.
So true, Mike D.
Mm-hmm.
You're so smart.
Ain't it though? All right. You want to talk about comics? Should we start with last week's?
Yeah.
And build our way to this week's? Cool.
Andy, I read your Eyeball Collector book from Image Comics.
Yeah.
It seemed like a trippier, like one shot of Department of Truth.
Yeah, that's why I liked it.
It had this like very zine quality DIY kind of like conspiracy theory, boogeyman on the moon kind of thing. It was not difficult to follow for me, but it was kind of like very fluid in its storytelling.
I think that was it was clearly purposeful though.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so for anybody who is unaware of what the Eye Collector is, Mike D, is this book on your radar?
No, I haven't read it.
So it's about the Apollo 16 mission, like the first moon mission. They land on the moon and they encounter this entity who is then sparked, like an interest in humans is sparked in it because it experiences humanity for the first time. So this entity like hitchhikes back to Earth with the Apollo crew. And then that's sort of where issue 1 ends.
Yeah.
But it's very much like Greg sort of said. It's like very esoteric in the way it's told. It's very nebulous storytelling. The word Lovecraftian gets thrown around a lot, but this is like very, very close to the way that Lovecraft actually wrote, wherein his main characters have encountered something that is so dissimilar to the things that we encounter as humans on Earth, that they have been driven to the point of insanity. So you get this story that's being told by this person that it should be believed because their story is, you know, like their insanity gives credence to the story, but you also can't believe it because it's being told by a crazy person. And the comic book reads that way.
What I really liked about it is the safe way to write this comic would have been, there would have been a narrative of just like these astronauts felt disoriented from their encounter with a beast. But what this creator decided to do was like, no, I'm going to literally disorient the reader with my panel structure and my lettering and all that. So you feel disconnected and disjointed while you're reading the book. And that adds a layer of, I don't want to say authenticity to the experience, but it is kind of like a fun thing that some creators do where they make it a more immersive experience where they're like, oh, I'm going to really knock you sideways with this one.
Yeah, totally agree. This book, like, it absolutely blew my socks off. I was sold from the get-go because it's like a spacey horror book, but man, I was just completely unprepared for how much meat was on this bone of this book.
My socks stayed on, but I still thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, I texted every like horror movie person that I knew and was like, you have to check out this book. Cause like if you liked In the Mouth of Madness, that John Carpenter movie, or if you liked Event Horizon, or if you liked The Thing, like this comic is like right up there with all of those. So
yeah, because it's not jump scare, but it is ethereal dread, which lives comfortably in the vastness of space.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
It's squarely in the ethereal dread genre.
Yeah, it's right next to manga at Borders.
That's right.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Anything
I love
else
My Collector.
to say about this book, fellows?
It's a rectangle.
It's going back to second print.
Hey,
so
love it when an indie gets a second print.
Yep.
Exciting. So still a chance to get your hands on a first issue in the coming weeks.
Yep.
Anything else from last week?
Guest. You had that.
Not that I can
of
remember. I was so excited for Eye Collector. I can't remember what else I read last week.
I read the Summer of Supergirl special, which was really fun. Sophie Campbell, who has written this like the all-in Supergirl, which has been like mostly a lighthearted romp that's like really fun and charming, wrote the main story in this. This was like a little bit anthology style. But the main story is a follow-up on Lobo #4, where you see kind of the repercussions of that issue with Supergirl and Lobo, which works really well as kind of an in DC comic book universe tie-in with the movie coming out that features Lobo in it. So a little bit of like marketing congruous here, but at the same time was a really fun story. Normally Sophie Campbell's doing double duty. She does art and writing on her series of Supergirl, but in this issue, Belen Ortega does the main story art, and her art style is like super charming. Like I really loved it, and Triona Farrell's colors on it were really cool. It felt very like a little bit anime and a little bit like cutesy in a way that was like very refreshing, cool, and like suited Sophie Campbell's Supergirl quite a bit. So I had fun with this. It's a fun, again, kind of a fun, lighthearted way to get a taste of Supergirl comics and what they're all about. That's maybe a little easier than diving into or committing to an ongoing series. So that's an option for you if you just want to taste Supergirl. I also read Mind Management Sells Out.
I knew you were going to pick this up.
And Mind Management is one of my favorite comic books. And I have a hard time like calling this anything less than like genius, which is probably like I'm like probably too biased to like be reviewing this comic book. Even this like the issue, the cover that I got is called Mind Management Sells Out, which is not actually the title of the new Mind Management book. Mind Management Sells Out is technically the second print. It's labeled on the back by the barcode as the second printing of the new Mind Management series. And it came out, as far as I understand, it came out the same week, the second printing, as the first issue. And a lot of this comic has to do with this character named the Eraser, who kind of has this ability to reshape what the collective consciousness remembers and believes. So, in this world where this has happened, you don't even remember that Mind Management #1 already came out. The second printing is out on shelves, and you're like, wait, when was the first printing? There's so many little things like this that Matt Kindt does with his comic books that make them like more than comics, or like
Yeah.
just add a layer for like freaky super fans like me to obsess over and look for the little clues and then go back and revisit the old comic books and try to find those little like hints and through lines while also still giving us something that is like fun and accessible for new readers if you just take it at face value. There's even like a thought piece at the beginning of this comic book by Matt Kindt where he walks you through like the hey, this is actually like a good onboarding point. Like you might say, oh, I don't want to buy this comic book because there's been 6 volumes of this thing predating this. Well, I'm here to tell you that wasn't the real Mind Management. None of that stuff ever actually happened. Like this is actually like the right place to go and start from here on out. So forget all that stuff that you knew before. And then as you go through the comic and start reading this, the more you realize that the narrative in the story is that a character is trying to make everyone in the Mind Management universe forget all of those preceding events, and Matt Kindt is going along with that thread. This comic book follows kind of like 2 operatives that have a lead and are kind of starting to like piece together some of the like maybe weirdness or missing pieces of what came before, and then we finally get a reveal that the eraser and some of those subsequent things potentially did actually happen, and this isn't actually like a fully new story, but more so a twist on what has come before by using mind management to control the populace. So that's I'll stop myself there because I could go on and on and on, and I'm already talking in circles that I think if you're not a mind management fan, you're probably like, "What the fuck is this?" But oh my god, it like so delivered on like everything I want from Matt Kindt in a mind management comic book. I thought it was brilliant.
I think Matt Kindt is going to solidify himself as like an Eric Larson or a Stan Sakai of just like, I have a history of characters that I'm just going to stick with for 20 to 30 years. And it's
Yeah.
going to be like a whole body of work that when it's done, I will be regaled as a genius, and you will chisel me an effigy in the nearest mountain.
I do think he's one of those creators that maybe does not have the kind of fan base, or we don't talk about him as one of the like modern greats like
Mm-hmm.
we should, because he writes such weird indie stuff most typically, and has like a very outside house style art style when he does his like holistically like authored and artist comics. A lot of the like mainline superhero comic books he's done have been at Valiant, which a lot of people don't have exposure to, but people who have read his books at Valiant are typically like wowed by what he was doing over there and how much that changed, like breathed tons of fresh life into their universe. And I do think that there will come a day in comic books where we step back and take a look at the breadth of his work and are just like, wow, like you can look at a lot of it as interconnected pieces. Even his like individual comics, like what's the one with the briefcase that has like the horrible secrets in it that you're not supposed to look at, and it like curses the next person who follows it and like hands it off. Like or Bang was another series that he did, and you can make the case that they're all kind of connected. Like all of these things can kind of come back to mind management if you like think hard enough about it. Even ENIAC that he did at Bad Idea was a comic book that like ENIAC is referenced several times in mind management. But so I do think we'll take a step back and be like, wow, look at the breadth of work and how cohesive it is and how consistently good he was. And we'll really appreciate him as one of these like prolific Mobius types who maybe wasn't like as appreciated as they should have been like during their working tenure or during like the height of their creativity. So shout out to Matt Kent, and check out his work if you're not exposed to it, because you'll be doing yourself a favor.
Just start with Department H. You don't need to start with mind management.
Well,
Dip your toe.
mind management is something that's hard to like. It's one of those, like you said, like I said earlier. There's 6 volumes of it, so it is difficult to be like, man, I'm really starting an endeavor here.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Department H was like 26 issues, and a really fun, like murder mystery under the sea, like very genre. He does like thriller stuff really well, like detective stuff really well. On an even smaller basis, there was, what's the name of it? That like mystery in Paris with like
with the chairs?
Yes, the chairs. What was that book called?
I just read it like a freaking week ago.
Yeah.
But it's a son and like a son and mom team.
Yes.
They go to like, there's like a murder and like they have to solve the murder, and then you're just like, wait, did they cause the murder? And then it's like a big whoodunit throughout the whole thing.
Right. Like a lot of his stuff, if you like those what are the Daniel Craig mystery movies?
Oh,
Knives
Glass Onion.
Out.
If you like the Knives Out movies, like Matt Kent is like so your type of creator.
Yeah.
Gilded Frame.
Gilded Frame, yeah.
Or it's something like that. But that's like a short one that's easy to read. And he also has
Guilt Frame.
Guilt Frame. And he also has the like Fort Psycho and a couple other things that are like good jumping. This new mind management book is a good jumping on point, I think, even if you haven't read all of the back issues yet. So
I think Bang is a good one. Bang is like a super spy mystery that like a lot of people can get into. It gets you familiar with his like watercolor style and his kind of way of storytelling. And then if you really want the heady kind of loop to loop, you know, is this real? Is this kind of like a farce? Then you go to mind management.
Yeah.
I remember liking Apache Delivery Service.
Yes. Great comic. Black Badge was great. He did that
Black
one as well,
Badge,
didn't he?
Black Badge was.
Yeah.
Great.
He's consistent. I don't want to make this. I feel like I'm making it sound like he's like an unknown genius. He's known, like he's got a huge fan base, right?
Yeah.
I'm such a big fan that I'm like, it should be bigger. So that's the angle I'm coming at with this.
Okay, so now you see why I love talking about Concrete so much. Because he's a genius. Not that many people know about the comic book Concrete. Moving on.
What did we read this week?
Wait, I have another book from last week.
Oh, sorry.
I think X-Men Outback, did that come out last week?
Yeah, that was last week.
Yeah.
This is Steve Orlando book that
Are they in Australia?
Yeah, they're in Australia. It takes up some timeline that I'm trying to get the pieces together of like when exactly it picks up. Like the X-Men were killed, but like not actually dead. They just can't be picked up by like audio or like television signals. And so they're kind of like in hiding, and Sabretooth comes after Wolverine, like doesn't believe that he's actually dead and wants to find the X-Men team. And so this first issue, even though this is like an ongoing series or a mini series, this first issue can be read as like a pretty standalone one shot. So if you're familiar with what came before this, I'm a little lost in the sauce with all the X-Men stuff. But it's an easy, enjoyable first issue where you get a little bit of slice of some alternate X-Men lore. And that's all I'll say about that. Now I'm ready to move on.
Now, what did we read this week?
I read the new 100 Bullets U.S. of Anger by Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Rizzo.
Yeah.
It is required reading, not only for 100 Bullets fans, but just fans of political discourse comic books. This book is, you could tell Brian wrote it during a very tumultuous time in our country. It deals with rioting, it deals with police brutality, it deals with race, it deals with police oversight and not being held accountable, all within the 100 Bullets universe. It is strictly black and white with stark contrasts of shapes and landscaping that kind of is very evocative of Sin City and a lot of Frank Miller stuff. But the black and white kind of like adds to the critique of the book, because like, you know, a lot of people say that a lot of things in life are black and white. They're either good or bad, and I think using those kind of like stark colors adds to that kind of rhetoric, in that no, things aren't typically black and white, and there are only a few splashes of color throughout the book, primarily red when there is blood, and yellow when there's like big text that needs to like invoke like surprise or like some kind of shock.
Or pee.
But P? Did you say P?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
They use yellow for pee?
Yes, they do. If you're dehydrated, but if you're not, it's
right.
clear.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't
right.
see the
Yeah,
words
yeah,
at all. But this book doesn't hold anything back. There's nothing. I mean, typical of Brian Azzarello and his writing. Like, it is sprawled out for you to read, you know, scars and all, and it is kind of like, it feels like a retrospective of like the last 10 years we've been living, to be completely honest, but not in a way that feels pandering or like I don't know, like it's like trying to like reinvent the wheel. It is very much of just like an examination of just like the insanity that we've kind of accepted as a normal everyday life, but on the backdrop of these characters. And I loved it. I thought it was great, and it is a great book for people who like want to read about like that time in our history where it's just like, every day you're just like, okay, is there going to be a fire or a protest or like some kind of like, you know, police incident? And it's just like, I don't know. It was very clever to me.
Do I have to have read all of the other 100 Bullets series before I read this?
No, you do not, which is great. It's enhanced if you have, because there's two characters that it follows, but they don't reference things from other 100 bullets that you're just like, oh, I see what they're doing here. It's very much of a, this is set post like 100 issues of 100 bullets. So like this is a continuation of the story of some characters from that series, but it's not a thing of like, if you don't know who this guy is, you're going to be completely lost. Because what it boils down to is this is a story about humanity and what happens when it crumbles.
Sounds like a good first issue to jump on.
And what's crazy is like typically we don't. I don't say we don't enjoy these books, but there is the thing of like if you hit the nail too square on the head, you lose that element of fantasy and escapism that you're just like, well, if I wanted the evening news, I just would have watched the evening news. Yeah. But this is stylized in a way where it's just detached enough, but it gives enough like kind of winks and nods to just like, hey, remember when like this really did happen? That you're just like kind of captivated to see how these characters maneuver in this world.
Dang, I'm sorry I passed on it.
It was pretty good. It's pretty juicy.
It's on the top of my to read pile, so I'm glad to hear it was good.
I didn't read this or that new Shaolin Cowboy because I was like, comics that exist but have first issues.
Oh my god, you could jump in Shaolin Cowboy anywhere. They're like segmented like Usagi books.
They're just standalone, like
yeah. Oh my god, you totally should. It's every book that guy does is bonkers. I mean, like just the visual fun he has in Shaolin
Those
Cowboy.
Covers are always insane. I need to read.
He has like one was like a bow staff with chainsaws on the end of it, and like each chainsaw had like kawaii charms, and like he's like cutting through lobster people, and like there's a donkey that talks, and you're just like, this is incredible. This is exactly what I want from my comic books. It's a cooler Shrek story, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. It was hard to not think Shrek when you hear donkey that talks.
Yeah.
Donkey.
Did you, quick aside.
Did you guys see that people are pissed that Fiona looks too sexy?
I mean, sexier. She's always been sexy. Yeah, here's my criticism to people who think that Shrek looks too real. It's a Shrek movie. Calm down.
Well, I do think here's an interesting thing is Shrek hasn't like it's persevered in the pop culture consciousness, but has not had a shelf life of like renewed iterations of it, right? So it exists in this like time when like watching Shrek now against other movies feels like you're watching a Nintendo 64 video game. Like the CGI to me looks like so dated and weird. And I think anything now with like the new look and feel of things and like the kind of like half realism that comes with just the quality of CGI now is leaving people uncomfortable with this kind of uncanny valley of what they remember Shrek looking like and what Shrek can possibly be iterated as now.
No, Shrek was always supposed to be sexy.
I kind of don't get, maybe I'm just not enough of a Shrek head to totally have followed like why this is pissing people off.
Oh, well, it's because it's also a detachment from just the animation style from the last 4 movies. Like there's
been 4 of these?
This is the 5th one, my dude.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Of the mainline Shrek movies. We're
Sure.
not talking Puss in Boots. We're not talking yeah.
But even those stayed within the art style of the
Oh, I thought that
previous
was
four
just...
Shrek movies. This is a complete departure of how they've originally been drawn. That's where people are just like, "Oh, I don't like it because it looks different." It's like when
Not
Sonic
my
had
Shrek.
teeth. It's like why did
Let's
Sonic
bully
have
the
teeth?
studio into changing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, the Sonic was a good improvement.
I agree, but I think it's a lot of people not willing to give up their nostalgia for something, and when something different comes along, they're just like, I don't like it, don't do it. And so that's where all the Shrek hate's coming from.
What a shame.
It is a real shame. It is. I mean, the guy pulled himself out of the swamp, made himself into a star, and then people are just trying to push him back into the swamp. It's not right. Leave Shrek alone.
Poor Shrek.
Finally, Saw
Wars,
Gerrara's getting his own book.
Rogue One, Saw Gerrara. I got a variant cover here. I thought it was cool. Saw Gerrera is a real SOB. They make that known in this issue. He's willing to do anything for the greater cause. Sacrifice lives of his fellow comrades if it means saving more lives in the long run, which is kind of an interesting, hard take for something that's such a feel-good fantasy sci-fi otherwise. So it was an interesting read. It was like darker and grittier than I was expecting, like any Star Wars comic book.
That's
And
that's
then
Forrest Whitaker, right?
Forrest Whitaker. This
Yes.
kind of like leads up to. These are like the events that kind of preceded him, taking Jin into hiding
Mm-hmm.
before Rogue One. So
this is
helps.
between Clone Wars and Rogue One.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
This is
Between
Rogue
Clone-
-1.
Yeah. So, I mean, great filler lore, which are kind of the Star Wars comics that I like, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
That, given there's a ton of great Star Wars comics that are ongoing series, but I have such a hard time saying, like, I am now going to allocate, like, so much of my budget to following, like, a whole new universe of comic books that have, like, ongoing storylines and do all this stuff. I am much more likely to say, hey, I want to see like this piece that fills out Saw Gerrera's character, or like who was there was a one shot about the bounty hunter, not the bounty hunter, shit. What was the guy's name? The
Well, I mean, there's been a ton. K2SO.
Well,
There's been
there's
They
been
did
tons of
Mace
these.
Windu. They did that or I guess that Mace Windu was like a miniseries,
But I really like these like one shots on like part player kind of characters from the Star Wars universe that just gives me like a little more depth in like who they are, where they came from, what part they played in the like rebellion versus the empire versus whatever, and like that's kind of my shit for Star Wars comics. So that landed really well for me, and I could see other people being like, it's just a one shot. But this was like right up my alley for what I want from a Star Wars comic.
Has the alien that owned the 50s diner gotten his comic book adaptation yet?
from episode 1.
Yeah. What's his name?
I don't know.
He talked like a weird greaser.
He did. He did.
Why don't I remember this? From episode 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, the prequels. He had like it was like a full on like New York diner scene where he was just like,
Yeah,
Welcome,
he's wearing
welcome.
he's wearing like a wife beater and everything.
yeah, and like like it was full on just like I think you've evolved past this attire of white apron, white wife beater, and like pen and paper, like writing down your order.
Dexter Jetster?
Yeah,
That's
it's
him.
That's the guy,
Okay.
my boy, Dexter Jack.
I love these names, make me laugh so much. I don't remember this guy at all.
Yeah, he definitely came out of a name generator for sure.
But I'm like, this is why Star Wars is good. Is like weird bit players like Dexter Jetster.
And Salacious Crumb.
Yeah, exactly right. I feel like there could have been more of them in some of the new series, but they did give us some amazing little character. Like Babu Frick is one that
Old Babu Frick.
Yeah.
That little cutie.
Well, I read Killer Influences. And this is from IDW's new like crime line that they're doing. And this is the story of a serial killer in a small town. And the small town also has a true crime podcaster who is investigating that serial killer. But the serial killer is like relatively unknown. The podcast is also relatively unknown.
So they need each other.
So they meet up. Like the podcaster meets the serial killer, and she's like, "We can help each other out. I can help you go down in history as like a Ted Bundy or a John Wayne Gacy by boosting my podcast, but you have to give me like the heads up when you're going to kill somebody and let me help you like do your thing, like like work on your lore, right?" So the end of the book sort of they have this encounter, right? It's all this setup in this encounter, and then the end of the book jumps forward like 5 years or a year or something, and the podcast is this huge like million subscriber podcast, but the serial killer is still like relatively unknown. So he has this vendetta against this podcaster who like promised him his like legacy. And it's like the rest of the book is going to be him sort of enacting his vengeance against this podcaster.
Just killing all these people to get her attention.
Well, I think he's going to go after her.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. It would be kind of funny to be like some small town jerk, just like, the girl he loves moves away and gets like incredibly famous and wealthy. And he's just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I missed my chance. I should have told her I loved her.
Yeah, it was a really, really fun book. I like the sort of stretches that IDW is taking with these crime books. Like normally I think this would be like a real horror slanted, they would err on the serial killer side, but it's cool to read a book with that setup that plays more with the like true crime aspect of what this story has to tell. So it was really, really cool book. Yeah, there you go, Mike D, with your true crime detective magazine book.
Talked about it on our Patreon, patreon.com/firstissueclub.
Yep, there you go.
Wild Daughters of Satan.
Cool, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it was a fun book. So.
I also read this. Did anyone else read this?
Whoa.
No.
Dead Acre Black Badge by Cullen Bunn and 7 other people.
Let's make it a group thing.
So this one's a story all about how this one guy's life got turned upside down. And I'd like to take a minute so you guys just sit right there and I'll tell you about how this guy became kind of the savior of a town called Dead Acre.
How long you been worked up in that? That was pretty flawless, my man.
Vargas, when he started talking about his comic book,
you checked out and you wanted to write this song.
No, he started with he started with the first couple lines of that the Fresh Prince song, and I was like, yes.
Oh, well, I did not intend that.
You
but
did not intend to, but yeah, I was like, I didn't get a chance to make my joke then, so
Well, good job to both of you.
I'll use it on this one. This was cool. It's about this kind of gunslinger guy, in the Old West, and he is kind of shot down in a blaze of glory. He's kind of been like a scumbag, but kind of turns it around, trying to do something good at the end of his life, and ultimately sacrifices himself to try to save someone. In that act, he's basically granted the opportunity to seek retribution in death for the sins of his life. So he's sent back to Earth as this kind of undead soldier who goes from town to town on missions from his like kind of angel cohort, who is sending him places where justice needs to be done. And every time he can go to any of these particular towns and dispense that justice, he's done a little bit to, work down his ledger of evil things he did during his life, because ultimately he's a good guy.
Would have loved it. The book would have been called Angel Justice.
Great title. Just say what it is. Dead Acre? What is
What?
that?
It doesn't make any sense. Angel Justice? I'm in.
Angel Justice. I know what that means. Just a note for you, Cullen.
2 wings and a 9mm. Angel Justice.
Hell yeah. I'd really recommend this. This is another one where I think it's like so easy to jump into this one and have a good time with it. And if you love like Western genre stuff, it doesn't read like a period piece really, but that's the setting, and it does have a bit of like that genre to it. But really, really fun, breezy read and kind of exciting, a lot of action, and then that kind of like sci-fi bent to it is entertaining as well. I'm assuming since it's got this like it's Dead Acre Black Badge, I think this might be like a pickup of another story. Vargas,
so there is a
I hear
Black
you're clicking
Badge.
keyboard. You're on the case.
Yeah, I thought Dead Acre was already a book, but
Well, while Vargas is looking that up, I do love, and I know that this isn't the first time it's been done, I do love the My Name is Earl of this, of just like, I've done things, I need to make it right.
Yep.
But I have to do it like from a listicle. Like there are certain things I need to check off this list, and then I get to go to the big cow pasture in the sky, and everything will be right as rain. I love that as a storytelling device.
Yeah, it's fun. It kind of gives him endless little like missions to go on.
100% side missions,
which makes it like a procedural, which is like comics are like so much so the original procedural drama.
It fits right in with comic books.
Yep.
It was a novella, a series of novellas.
Got it. Okay. So that's the reason it has a little bit of a subtitle here to make you know that is a piece of a larger thing. I think that if this is the first comic book interpretation or iteration of it, I would have almost preferred that they left off a subtitle on the cover, because it looks like you are getting volume 2 or volume 3 of Dead Acre, when really this was like a great jumping on point. So, or like a holistically new story for Vault.
That's where Angel Justice comes in.
Yeah, that's right. So don't avoid Dead Acre Black Badge, because it looks like it's something you need background knowledge of, because you don't. That's been the theme of today's episode, kind of, that a lot of the first issues served as good onboarding new read points, even though a lot of them come from legacy source material.
Right.
So good on you, comics. That's tough to do.
Is a series of novellas collected together just a novel?
Well, no, that would be just a series of novellas.
Seems like a novel to me.
I think because they break off and end.
Yeah.
I've seen
That
that.
even if you compiled them, it wouldn't be a single novel.
Yeah, it would just be a compilation of novellas.
It's more than anything an
like
anthology.
Maybe like chapters of books.
Oh, Greg, you silly
That's
boy.
why my books need pictures, baby. Angel Justice
Greg.
coming to TBS.
Yeah. All right. I think that's an episode of First Issue Club, the weekly comic book podcast where just like Sue Storm, we love a good read. And it's brought to you by Space Camper Cosmic IPA. Juice Nova is what I'm brought to you by this week, what my temperament has been brought to you by. And we'll be back, I'm assuming, next week to do it all again. There'll be
Did we just
guys,
palindrome this episode?
There'll be two guys out of their basements, so we'll have less air conditioning fan noises next episode.
I'm sorry.
God willing.
We are in the middle of a freaking heat wave, folks, and that thing will not shut off.
Yeah, shut up, Mike.
I'll download our audio track separately, and we'll try to do what we can about it.
Yeah. So next week we'll be in person, so Mike doesn't have to cut out my loud fan. Bye.
Bye. First Issue Club podcast is brought to you by Boulevard Brewing Company, the people responsible for our favorite drinks, the Space Camper Cosmic IPA family of beers. Our show is edited and produced by our hosts Mike DeStacy, Greg Lichtag, and Andy Vargas. You can find us on social media at First Issue Club, and you can join the supporters who keep our humble podcast going on our Patreon at patreon.com/firstissueclub.